Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. My marker did not go down correctly. And then I made that weird guttural noise.
I thought that was me.
My name is Daniel King. In the studio with me this evening, back again, Chad.
Hello.
Like Cher. Hey, point that mic at your... Get in there. Yeah.
Get in there all nice and deep.
Get in there all nice and nice and good. Chad, how you been since the last time we saw you, bruh?
Been all right, man. Been all right. Working a lot.
Yep. I heard that. You working hard or hardly working?
Normally just hard at work.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, what people that listen to this podcast are like. I wonder what your work day's like. You know what I mean? Just curious, like, people that put us on while they're, like, doing shit. Like, what is it you're doing?
Yeah.
Are you just masturbating? Don't listen to this while you masturbate. I mean, you can if you want. Maybe masturbate more then.
Not sure how I'd feel about that.
Yeah. Leave us a rating. I mean, Pornhub gets a rating. You leave us a 5-star rating. You can do it right there in app, actually. If you decide to do that, we sure do appreciate it. If you've never tuned into this show, it is just the same thing it's been for the last 2.5 minutes. Just kind of ramble on about some shit. We also discuss 2 movies. One of them we think is good, or at least remember it being good. And the second one is, just something schlocky or like bad, maybe low budget, but hopefully it's so bad it's good. And the two have something in common. So, oh, fuck me. You know what I did?
All right. I didn't know that was on the table.
Well, I mean, we don't have to do it on the table. It's not... We'd break this motherfucker, bro. This table's fucking older than me. Let's see here. I wanted to talk about this. So this is actually a listener request. Let's see here. That is by, what's this guy's tag? Jacob Parker. It doesn't say his Instagram handle here, but yeah, this is just Jacob Parker. And Jacob Parker recommended that we cover the duo of movies, Green Room, and a movie called Fanboy. There are a couple of movies called Fanboy. This one it's different. It's a little more difficult to find. We will go over that briefly though. But so first, Green Room. If you've not heard of Green Room or not familiar with it, it is an R-rated 2015 horror indie film. 1 hour, 35-minute runtime, pretty breezy. You can watch it on HBO or Hulu right now, I believe, but that might be like the premium service or whatever. Let's see here. It has got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 78% of Google users like this movie. Directed by Jeremy Saulnier, a screenplay by Jeremy Saulnier. Box office $3.8 million, distributed by A24, and it stars Patrick Stewart, I guess relatively recently deceased Anton Yelchin, Imogen Poots, Alia Shawkat. Yeah, she's in lots of good stuff. It's Just Two Movies alumni Macon Blair, Joe Cole, and Mark Webber. Those are kind of your big hitters. I do want to give a quick mention to, where is this son of a bitch? Mark Webber and Eric Edelstein. Yeah, Eric Edelstein. He's the guy that plays Big Justin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of fun there. I also like Samuel Summer. He plays those two guys that kind of look like twins. The skinhead guys, yeah.
Stabbing guys?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, cool, this guy's kind of creepy. Chad, if somebody wasn't familiar with Green Room, without spoiling it, what would you tell them that it's about?
It's about a band that plays at a venue and people die. Spoiler free, I guess.
And that is pretty spoiler free, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and spoil the fuck out of this. I mean, if you're
about the only way we can.
Yeah, it's kind of the only way you can talk about it. So Yeah, if that's something you're interested in checking out, we're about to throw some stones. So, yeah. So this is an A24 release film. I would say probably not to movie bros or like film nerds or whatever. This is probably relatively widely known, but I would say to the general audience, I don't think a lot of people know this is out there.
No.
Yeah. So it's about a punk rock band, and they are mediocre at best, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I get down on some like Ramones and Dead Kennedys and Sonic Youth and shit like that.
No effects.
Yeah, no effects. Yeah, I love no effects. But at a certain point, it's just yelling. You know what I mean? It's just yelling, and nobody is really a talented musician. And they do something really great in this movie that I wish they would do in more films. They play that. I'm skipping way ahead here, but they play that bit where they're like, Nazi punks, Nazi punks,
oh,
Nazi
yeah.
punks, fuck off. They play that, and it's 40 seconds long, and then they end it, and they're like, that was a cover. And they go, this is our next song, whatever. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And they start to play the song, and it just cuts to like orchestral music. You know what I mean? And everything's in slow-mo. It's like opera in the background. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Instead of listening to that like gutter punk music that I'm just not into.
No.
Yeah. I appreciate the spirit. Your heart's in the right place.
It's hard to tolerate, though.
Yeah, I can't listen to it long term. I like some punk rock music, but just not that I don't know, gutter punk just doesn't do it for me.
It's sad whenever, here I listen to like metalcore, deathcore music, and I have trouble tolerating that punk style music.
Yeah, it's because it's just shouting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even screaming, it's just it's shouting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't know how else to discuss this film except for just go, here's everything in the movie. And then we'll just go back and talk about like what we liked, what we didn't like.
Yeah, that works.
With you? Okay, so you've got this punk rock band. They wake up hungover in a cornfield. One of them passed out driving, and they just ran off the road. And they have been siphoning gas like a motherfucker. So they hop on a bike, and they two of them, they siphon some gas from a bowling alley or skating rink or whatever it is. They get to their next show. They meet a guy who's interviewing them for a thing on the radio. He puts them up in their house. In his apartment or whatever. And he's like, hey, sorry, the show wasn't good. You guys got like $7 per band member from the door after playing the show. And he's like, look, let me call my brother. I'll hook you guys up with another show. He's like, it's, it pays well as far as like a paying show goes. $350. And yeah, so they're like, okay, yeah, well, whatever, we'll do it. So they go to this venue in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Didn't one of them ask while they were talking about, him knowing the gig, didn't they mention, like, we'll play it as long as it's not a bunch of Nazis?
Oh, yeah. And he's like, play your old stuff. But,
Okay. I didn't remember if that was brought up.
Yeah,
okay.
So he didn't say it wasn't a bunch of Nazis, but he didn't say it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just was like, it's kind of audience are a little rough around the edges. Play your early stuff, they'll love it. So they get out there. It's just the middle of fucking nowhere, and it is a bunch of Nazi fucking punk rock guys. They play their show. They bring the house down. It's a good show. And then while they're going back, they're getting ready to go backstage, and one of them's like, oh, I forgot my phone in the green room, the titular green room. And Anton Yelchin's like, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. He jumps back in there to grab the phone and witnesses like a freshly done murder.
Right. The chick had a blade in the side of her head.
Embedded in her skull, yeah. And then that band, things escalate from here. I don't want to go into great detail about it, but things escalate. The whole band gets shoved in that room. There are several altercations. The next band actually goes on stage and plays after that, which is fucking weird. And then, essentially they're like, look, we're in this room. We've got a gun. And the guy's like, just give me the gun. The guy on the other side, Patrick Stewart's, just give me the gun, Logan. And he won't do it. And then, eventually things escalate until they're like, well, fine, we're going to have to shoot our way out.
Which I remember, I don't remember the exact exchange with Big Justin, but they had said, he's only got 6 bullets. And he's like, No, these are big fucking bullets. There's only 5 in this cylinder.
Yeah. I remember him talking a bunch of shit. Dude, that guy is a delight. I like him. I've seen him in a handful of things. I don't.
Yeah, he's recognizable.
Yeah. Like him a lot. So the band members of the band, the main band that we're watching, you got one guy's kind of a hothead.
Which one's that, Tiger?
I think so. The skinnier guy.
Yes.
The scrawnier dude. So he's kind of a hothead. And then there's another dude that actually is kind of a badass, but he's not high strung.
Don't remember his name off the top of my head. Reese, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember his name. And they've got the girl in the band who also plays maybe Funke from Arrested Development.
Yes, Sam.
Yeah, and Sam, she guitarist, bass player, I don't know, one or the other. And you have Anton Yelchin. I think Anton plays the guitar.
He is Pat.
Yeah, plays Pat. Just kind of a pussycat. You know what I mean? He's not really a punk rock guy. I don't think of him as.
No.
He doesn't say or do anything very punk rock in this movie, except almost get his hand cut off and then shave his head. And
yeah, I mean, he does. He's not really a standout character whenever you think about punk rock bands.
No, he kind of gets his ass kicked all the time too.
Yeah.
Oh, Imogene Poots, she's a fucking murder machine. ASMR. Heavy breathing noises and ice in a glass. Okay, so a couple of things about this movie. The music's not horrible. It's not my thing, but it's not horrible, and they put it in the film in a way that's tasteful, I think. I like the cast. I like all the Nazi guys more, though, if I'm being honest. I like Macon Blair and Patrick Stewart and fucking the guy that plays Big Justin.
Which one's Macon Blair?
He's the son, Worm.
Okay.
Well, I think his name's Worm anyway. He's the guy that's always dealing with Patrick Stewart.
No, that's Gabe.
Then Gabe.
Worm was the one that committed the murder.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one that kind of stood up before he walked out of the green room and was like, that was a great fucking set.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, this song, that's the one I done her to.
Yeah.
That's Worm.
What was that song called?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. What was your second to last song?
Yeah.
He says the name, he's like, that's the one I did her to.
Yep.
Just fucking stab that bitch right in the skull. Dude, when he pulled the knife out, yike.
Yeah,
it dragged the body
maybe
a little
she's
bit.
not dead, and then he grabs the knife and kind of drags her across the floor with the knife still stuck in her head.
Oh, man. Down to the hilt.
Yeah.
Down to the hilt. Ain't no blade showing on that thing, I don't think. He buried it all the way to the handle. Yeah, fucking gnarly. That guy's scary as shit. That's just a man on the edge.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Ooh. So the guy's a meth head. Yeah, you can tell the guy's a meth head. That scary fucking dude.
No, that was a heroin.
Oh, was it heroin?
Place.
Is that what it
yeah,
was?
that's what they were.
Okay.
That's what they were doing in the basement. It was a heroin operation.
I remember them saying heroin, but I was looking at all the chemicals, and I'm like, seems like a lot of.
What?
I don't know what the chemical extraction process is for heroin. Because I also
either.
don't give a fuck.
Right.
Don't do heroin.
Right.
And don't sell heroin. Just fucking quit.
Drugs are bad and good.
Well, those drugs are bad. Not all drugs are bad. I think it should just fucking legalize most of them.
Or you can be like Oregon and just all of them.
Yeah,
decriminalize
sure.
it.
Yep. Tell you what, everybody probably be a little more chill if they were like, you know what, maybe I am going to try mushrooms. They'd just be a changed person the next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's a different discussion for our other podcast. It's just two narcotics. So they're fucking. I like all that stuff. That the guys in the Nazi fucking party, dude. When I saw Patrick Stewart in this, because it's like, did you recognize Gabe as anybody from anything?
Gabe?
Yeah.
Or Darcy?
Gabe.
Not off the top of my head.
Well, that's Macon Blair. He showed up in 3 or 4 movies we watched on the podcast.
Okay.
I think our second episode we covered Blue Ruin, and he's the leading actor in Blue Ruin, and I'd never heard of him before that.
Okay.
But I notice him he's very you can look at him and go, hey, that's Macon Blair.
He has a familiar face.
He has a very familiar face. So he's popped up a couple of times on the show. I like seeing him and stuff now that I fucking am familiar with some of his work. But yeah, it's fucking cool to see him pop up. The first time I saw this, I was like, oh my God, that's Patrick fucking Stewart.
Yeah.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
I had said that to Amy whenever we were watching it. I was like, he looks super familiar. And it was just, there were no close-ups yet, so I couldn't really tell who it was.
Patrick Stewart, you hear his voice, though. He's got a very recognizable
Yeah, and then
voice.
I pulled it up on IMDb after I had mentioned to her. I was like, I think that's Patrick Stewart. And I was like, oh, yeah, that absolutely is.
Yeah, fucking A. Dude, cool, though, that he's in this. This must have been a passion project for him. Weird that he was like, yeah, I'll play a hard-leaning alt-right fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And especially with such a low budget, they couldn't have paid him a whole lot to do it.
No. Couldn't have been. Good, cool, fun passion project role, though. He gets to get shot in the face at the end of it.
Yeah. Which reminds me, the 2 shootings I remember, did you see the blood effects, how they just kind of spurt out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I don't know if that's how it would look or not. I'm assuming not, if you get shot in the head.
I've never seen someone actively be shot. I've always been on scene after they were shot. So I've seen the wounds. I've just never seen the action that created the wound.
Well, I tell you what, in this movie, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. I will say this, if you're not into like gore, pretty gory, I think. Yeah. There's a bit where Anton Yelchin goes to he's going to hand the guy the gun. They're going to keep the bullets. He's going to hand the guy the gun. And he's like sticking his arm out. And then they see more people out there. And they fucking grab his arm and like hack it with a machete. And when he pulls it back in, like his hand is fucking falling off. And his arm is like hella hacked up.
Yeah, it's just kind of flopping around at the wrist because that's where most of the damage was done at.
Looked very convincing.
It did.
Yeah, and horrifying also. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, was not crazy about that. I mean, it looked really good though. It makes you realize the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, and it's the things I've dealt with in, a prior career. It pains me to see it happen actively. I mean, I'm used to seeing it, afterwards, but
right,
to watch it actually happen, it makes me super uncomfortable.
It's the sound.
Yes.
It's this, for me, it's the audible, like the noise of you ever hear somebody break a bone? Like IRL?
Well, it reminds me of Preacher. Have you ever heard a rabbit caught in a bear trap? Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. I was present one time when a dude I knew was doing a backflip on a trampoline, missed the trampoline, double compound fracture.
Ugh.
When he caught himself, you know what I mean?
Compound arms, legs?
Arms.
Okay.
Yeah, so double compound arm fracture. Bones sticking out of the skin, but it was the noise, the sound that it made is what.
And it was probably his ulnas, his radius is because, the large bone in your lower arm. Ugh.
And then it just looked like a T-Rex, you know what I mean?
Reminds me of Deadpool.
Because your arm's fucking shorter.
Yeah.
Ugh. Fucking nasty. That noise, that sound is fucking squelching intensifies. The violence stuff in this, very good. I like all the stuff with Big Justin and whatever the other guy's name, the guy that could restrain Big Justin.
Reese,
yeah. He just get him in a fucking arm lock.
Which reminds me of the line where he's got him arm barred in the floor and he's like, all right, I'm going to let you up. Well, what are you going to do whenever I release you? Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to butt fuck everybody in this room.
Dude, such a sense of humor, man.
Oh, yeah.
When the power goes out, Imogene Poots lights a cigarette and hands it to the guy and she's like, smoke that. He's like, deal. He's like, I'll have a cigarette after fucking getting thrown in that fucking armbar and having a gun pointed at me and shit. Yeah, I'll have a smoke.
And then she was like, if the cherry does anything you don't like, shoot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really clever execution in this.
Yeah.
Just smart, fun, to the fucking point. You don't need 20 minutes of build up to do the action in this because your characters are so you give them so much definition in 6 minutes.
That's what Amy and I had talked about last night. Like, it seems like most of the movies that we enjoy, they're a breeze. They're maybe 90 minutes long at most, maybe a little bit longer, but that's starting to push it. Because if they're well put together, you can wrap it up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. I like that a lot. I like the dog stuff.
Yes.
The guy that's got the dogs, and he, like, trains them in German. So, like, other people can't command his dogs or whatever. Pretty good. And also, he's a Nazi, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they're good-looking dogs.
I didn't really get a great look at them, but I mean, most German shepherds, they're taught in German for commands.
Yeah, these are they're short. They're not German shepherds. They're like they're short hair animals, stockier. Like one of them looked kind of like a pit bull, but it wasn't a pit bull. So not
probably
positive.
A mix.
Yeah, it could be a mix, maybe a mastiff mix or something like that. Anyway, big dogs. The dog violence in this very violent. The bit where it like straight up rips out Tiger's fucking throat. Pretty gnarly. Somebody else gets killed by a dog too, don't they?
Sam,
yeah. And the other dude, when he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm getting out this window. Reese, yeah, he's like, fuck yeah, I'm getting out this window. And he gets like 90% of the way out the window, and he's like, oh, fuck, because there's just dudes standing out there.
Yeah,
and when
they've
he
got
hits
all the exits
ground,
blocked.
They just fucking stab him a bunch of times. Pretty gruesome.
What is it? They drag him over to Patrick Stewart's character, Darcy, and he's like, is he still breathing? And they respond, yeah.
Sorta? Yeah, actually.
He's like, good, leave him, let him suffer.
Yeah, let him bleed out.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking Patrick Stewart in this. Man, I kind of wish they weren't Nazis, because he's like, go grab me the red laces. And I'm like, oh, these dudes with like just their fucking combat boots with red laces. I'm like, that's kind of cool. That is kind of punk rock, actually.
Yeah.
But bummer, that's a Nazi thing. How about fucking Anton Yelchin's fucking paintball story?
Well, what was it? It was 3 ex-Marines he had said they went up against. Yeah.
Yeah, in fucking paintball.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta do what fucking Kevin said or whatever. We were getting destroyed. These guys were using hand signals and flanking us and, all this other shit. And we were getting destroyed. And then one time Gary's like, I'm fucking sick of this shit, or whatever his name was. He's just
kamikazes himself.
Just ran out there kamikaze style and destroyed their entire fucking team. Good stuff. But they don't really do that ever.
No, I guess the only time that would really apply is whenever the two go in and break into the green room, whenever it's him and the blonde-headed girl in there, and he's got the face paint on, and so does she after he shaves his head.
Yeah, Imogene Poots is just hiding in the fucking couch
with a box cutter. Yeah,
clever. Yeah, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, because the guy goes in and confronts him, and he jumps through the hole that they had broken through the floor. One of them follows him down with a shotgun, and then the other one, kind of stays upstairs to watch, and that's whenever Imogene comes out and slices his throat while he's kind of bent down looking through the hole in the floor.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Man, fucking Patrick Stewart says a lot of smart shit, though, because they're trying to clean up this fucking crime scene so that, the cops don't come poking around, because, they're making fucking heroin in the basement or whatever. But he's very, task-oriented on, all right, let's go get me these 3 guys and tell this dude to go home and fucking do this and this and this. We're going to contain this. A lot of times in movies, I feel like a lot of that sounds forced, and some of it doesn't make sense. That everything is just very well thought out here.
Yeah, because he wanted to make sure that it looked like the deaths happened somewhere other than the bar.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because if they would investigate the bar, they would discover the heroin operation.
Oh, dude, I do want to talk about after the first murder when Anton Yelchin or whoever tries to call 911, somebody grabs their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops do show up. They got 2 guys outside that kind of look like brothers. And he's like, when the guy gets on the phone, he's like, yeah, there's been a stabbing. He didn't say anything about it. It's a girl who got stabbed in the head. He just
Right,
said
or when it happened.
yeah, just that there was a stabbing. So the fucking cops are rolling up, and these two guys that look like twins are outside. He's like, all right, man. Yeah, do it. And he just fucking stabs his buddy. Like
Two or three times.
Yeah, 2 or 3 or 4 times. Yeah, pretty crazy. And then the guy doesn't even fall down.
No.
And then the cops come, and they're like, both of you in cuffs in the cop car. The guy just got stabbed. He needs an ambulance.
Right.
Unless it was a little tiny knife. It said it wasn't a felony charge. What did he say about the blade length?
I don't remember what he said.
Something about it. He's like, yeah, it's not going to be a felony charge. It'll be all right.
But I think like the law in our state is if it's under 3 or 4 inches. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I believe it's somewhere around there.
You know what else is under 3 or 4 inches?
Credit card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know that I've got anything else to say about this. I like it. I like it. Fun, breezy. This is probably the most violent movie that I actually like. Okay. A lot of like gore and violence is kind of a turn off. I'm not a big fan of it. I'll watch it, but I don't enjoy it.
So you weren't a big fan of The Green Inferno?
Oh, I really like The Green Inferno.
Okay, cool.
Actually, yeah. It's a bit gory for my taste,
but it was well done.
It's very well done. Yeah, kind of like Bone Tomahawk or this. You know what I mean? Kind of similar, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to mention about it before we carry on?
I guess just to spoil the ending of how.
Oh yeah.
Unsettling it could have been. You know, they're after. Let me see, who was it? Pat and Amber kill everybody. The 2 band members that are left, they sit down. And then you see that the mortally wounded dog begins to walk by. And you're like, oh shit, is it going to attack one of them?
Yeah.
And then it just goes down and lays beside his dead owner, Clark, and just kind of lays his head on his arm.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
But they're both going to shoot the dog.
Oh yeah, they're about to.
They're out of ammunition.
They've sucked all the grass up through with their their buttholes because it's so puckered.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude, those dogs were fucking brutal. What did he give that dog? He just gave him like a fucking shot in the spine.
He gave him a shot of something. I would assume it would be some type of painkiller or epinephrine.
Yeah, it's like this will keep him alive for a couple more hours.
Yeah.
I'd consider it a personal favor if he dies with meat in his teeth.
Yep.
Like, dude, just a fucking dog training machine. That's
cutthroat, brutal.
Fucking yeah. They all are.
Yeah,
just a bunch of sick fucks. Let's go ahead and rate it. How many? Okay, if you had 10 fingers.
I only have 8 fingers. I've got 2 thumbs.
Your 8 fingers
okay.
are thumbs.
Okay, so we've got 10 total.
You got 10 total thumbs.
Okay.
And all those thumbs are Anton Yelchin's arm all chopped up. How many would you give this out of 10?
I don't know. I mean, it was a breeze to sit through. It was, watchable, even though I was kind of squeamish through some of it.
Yeah.
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I go 8.5. I lean 8.5 on it, yeah. I think this is my second watch ever.
Mine as well. Like I said, I had texted you and I was like, this looks vaguely familiar. And then once I got into it, I was like, oh, I've definitely seen it before, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'll like. Half of the reason I watch so many movies is because I will put a movie on in the middle of the night and just catch 30, 40 minutes of it and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I don't bother to rewatch it. So I do that with a lot of stuff. Sometimes I'll sit through the whole thing. Sometimes I'll just go to sleep. But this is one I probably put on like late or I was drinking or something like that. Because I did not remember everything about it. But I did enjoy it. Enjoyable watch. I would recommend. You were telling me about, before we got in here, or as soon as we sat down, you were telling me about like fucking Anton Yelchin died?
Yes, he passed away June 19th of 2016, I want to say. And this movie came out in 2015, if I recall correctly.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Imagine what a career he would have had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was only a couple of years older than me, from what I recall.
What'd you say? He got pinned between like his
vehicle
and a tree or something?
No, it was a pillar.
Fuck. I guess they just walked in front of it, and it was not
That's all I
in
can think of
gear.
is he got out and it was either in drive still, or if it was a manual, it was a neutral and it just rolled into him.
Wow. Fucking crazy, man. Yeah. Well, watch your, make sure if you're out there and you're driving a manual, use that fucking e-brake, baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's there for. To make sure you don't get smushed and bushed.
Not to be confused with the YouTube channel Smosh.
So, oh, is that
Yeah.
What's on that YouTube channel? Never heard of it.
I've just heard of it. I don't remember ever watching it.
That it exists. All right, well, we are gonna go watch another movie. We're gonna go watch Fanboy. This was the other listener recommendation from that dude I said earlier.
And he
What's
could
his-
also be referred to as a
Jacob
fanboy.
Jacob Parker, our number one fanboy. Get it? Because we did a thing. Here's the intermission.
We gonna get up in it, boy.
All right, man. You ready? No more fucking around, Chad. Are you ready?
Dude, I am fucking ready.
Ready. We are back. We watched Fanboy.
Correct.
Let me see if I can find any information about this Fanboy movie.
I cannot differentiate between the actors because they mostly do not have photos on IMDb.
What? Not from 2009. What was the year?
2021.
Here we go. Boom. I'm getting all this information exclusively off IMDb because no information exists about it elsewhere. Fanboy is a 2021, not rated, 1 hour, 32-minute runtime thriller. It's got a 4.0 out of 10 on IMDb, I guess, with 51 reviews. Stars Ben Johnson, Alberto Girondo, Alia Jaywook, Abrella Harrison, Thomas Kitsos, John Coda, Marcy Motley, Ellen Lawrence, Carl Prescott.
Ellen Lawrence.
I'm just fucking reading names at this point. It doesn't
Ellen
even fucking matter.
Lawson.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Anyway.
Ellen Lawson cares.
Anyway, Ellen Lawson probably isn't going to hear this. If she does, you did a lovely job. You did what you could with what you had. Give you that.
Which isn't much.
No. But Chad, what would you say Fanboy is about?
It's about a band that has an obsessed fan that follows them.
Yeah. So this is a incredibly low budget film. I don't have the budget for it, but if I had to guess,
$15.63.
whatever, 10 bottles of liquor and like 9 cases of beer and to
Couple
rent
packs of cigarettes.
and to rent a van.
Yeah.
And maybe a carton of cigarettes, or like whatever that costs, as I imagine what this cost. So the Our Fan recommendation by Jacob Parker. Fuck, I closed that instant. God damn it all. Jacob Parker, friend of the show, super Mr. Fanboy himself, recommended this film because, let's see here, his brother-in-law plays shows at the bar in San Diego called the Casbah, which is a bar that's featured in the movie.
Yes.
So, Chad, what would you say this is about without spoiling it? By the way, we could only find this for rental on Amazon. What?
Said I already said it.
What'd you say?
I said it was about a band that has an obsessed fan that follows them.
Oh, yeah, you did. Sorry, it was so short and sweet, I forgot it.
Well, that's how you do it without a spoiler.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I guess spoilers for the Fanboy. Fanboy? No, just Fanboy. Weird title for the film. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start my first grievance. Now that we're in spoiler zone, I don't like the title because I don't think it's a fanboy. It's like, that's not really what the guy is.
Is he a fan man?
No, it's just a fanboy. Somebody's like who's a ridiculously like Star Wars fanboys, like people that like dress like have a Luke Skywalker or not Luke Skywalker, a fucking Han Solo vest and wear it all the time.
He's just more of a neurotic person that's kind of odd that tails a band. I mean, that's to sum it up.
Yeah. So weird guy. So what happens is a weird guy. He's a big fan of this band. And then he follows them to their first 3 shows on their tour, which they're like, oh, on the tour. The tour is 99% in California. I don't know if there's one location that's not in California, but that's where they're touring. They're just going straight through California. Well, I guess that is a West Coast tour, technically.
Yeah, I mean, if you exclusively stay in California, you're still on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's straight up. What do you think of the band?
I give them a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
I could listen to it, but it's not necessarily what I would like to listen to.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave the venue.
Right.
I wouldn't leave the venue. I would just like, I don't know, suck it up, wait for the next band or whatever. Right. Mostly vocalist for me. And then also the drummer. Because it's like deliberately bad.
Dwayne.
Fucking take a piss and Dwayne my cock. You know
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knows that pee is stored in the balls.
Oh, yeah. That's basic human anatomy.
Yep. Basic stuff. So, I don't know. What do you think, Chad? Let's have some notes. Let's have some notes about this. Oh, I didn't finish what it's about. So this guy, he's like a big fan. Their drummer is bad, and he's good at the drums. So he kind of wedges his way in, and then he kills the drummer.
Allegedly.
And then he is playing in the show, and he's still weird and creepy, and like does some nice things, but he's kind of a creep. And he's a violent guy, and maybe he killed one of the guys in the band.
Yeah, I mean, to completely spoil it, at the end of the movie, the drunk neighbor at the last house they stayed in contacts the police and says, the last person I saw the drummer with was a bald-headed guy and a woman with blue hair, and apparently they beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But the film had led you to believe all along with it was the super fan that had murdered the drummer.
So that's the thing with the guy who worked in Homicide, the guy with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
That worked in Homicide, and the secretary, when she's like, oh, didn't you give Detective Mac that information? He's like, no, fuck that guy. So he withheld the information that the drunk woman saw the bald guy and the blue-haired woman kill that guy.
Yeah.
But she was fucking wasted, and they already arrested the other guy who is super weird and creepy. So this isn't a terrible idea, actually. It's got some good mystique to the story, but they don't just hand that to you. If we weren't rediscussing that, I wouldn't have picked that up by watching the film.
Right, and when it comes to the criminal justice system, it feels like it's more so whatever they can convict this person with, whether they're guilty or innocent, as long as they can convict that person, that's what they're going to go with.
What'd he really do?
Yeah, he was just fucking odd.
He kind of he was weird. He beat up some evildoers. For sure.
Yeah.
He for sure did those things. And he talked some mad shit and threatened one dude.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, you don't see him doing anything. So who's is it on us to decide if he actually did the killing or if it was the woman in the blue hair, the blue-haired lady and the fucking bald guy from the other band?
No, I believe it's the onus is on the viewer the onus is on the viewer to decide who actually committed the crime of murdering the drummer.
I think it is definitely the fucking crazy guy. But
I'm undecided.
Know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty good idea for a thing, though. Yeah. Really poor execution. All right, now that I talked about the things that I liked about it, I'm going to throw a bunch of rocks at it. So, first of all, I want to start off by saying that this is in the top 2 for poorly dubbed films that I've ever seen.
For sure.
Oh, man. It is atrocious. The voiceover for this is just god-awful.
I've potentially seen better karate movies with better English dubs.
Yeah, and it's weird because they're just dubbing English over English-speaking people. You know, it's presumably the same people. The delivery is so dry on all the voice acting. And some of the, like, even just, like, facial expressions and shit are weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was all... I don't know, I felt like all the voice acting was very lackluster whenever it comes to emotions.
I feel like they recorded sound and it was trash. And then they were like, okay, well, we're going to have to re-record all the audio for it. So I think it was maybe a post-production change. There you go. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good sound clip. I'll put that in the next news segment of the show. What'd you think about
I didn't think
about it. Oh boy, I hated the way they played the same song 3 times in a row. 3 or 4 times in a row. Like a lot of it though.
It was very tough.
Yeah. When they're like, oh, this guy can actually play the drums though, instead of the other guy who couldn't, you can convey that in 10 seconds. You don't need a whole... What are you having there? You having a little fucking black velvet and cream soda?
A little bit of whiskey and cream soda.
Whiskey and cream soda, yeah. I had a little sip of that pretty tasty stuff.
A little bit of snoot.
Yeah. Snoochie boochies. What do you think about just the weird dude? Let's talk about that a little bit. Everybody's performance, but particularly that gentleman, the guy that plays the weird fanboy guy.
Well, actually, fun fact, he's also the director and writer.
Yeah. But he's fucking got a creepy look about him.
Overdone, though, I feel.
And underdone, weirdly, in some parts.
Yeah.
Like, just pick a lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane. They went from, oh, no, he's a normal guy, to be like, no, this guy's fucking crazy as shit. All the, like, back and forth through the whole thing. Really abrupt editorial cuts.
Oh, jump cuts out the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
It wasn't even titled to tell you where they were at or what the time frame was.
No. And also, another thing I hate, when the detectives show up and they find the body of the drummer or whatever, it is so easily, oh man, my brother's into underground punk rock bands. I know this symbol. It's from a band called the Sea Snakes, but with the letter C instead of the word C. What? No, I don't just know somebody who's into a thing and I know everything they know about it. That's not how that works. But they're just very hand-fistedly like, oh yeah, we gotta check out this band. What was the name of the fucking band?
Xenos.
Xenos, yeah. Xenos phobes. Got him. No, but so the band Xenos or whatever, and they mention it, they name drop it like 50 times.
Oh, like everybody knows who it is.
Like 50 fucking times, dude. It's just a local punk band that's very mediocre. Yeah, weird, and they're all in their 40s.
Yeah.
Seems strange. Seems like this would be a young man's game. I don't know. It would have been more compelling if just the drummer guy was older. Just the drummer fanboy guy was older. And everybody else was a little on the younger side. You know what I mean? That would give him a little creepier edge.
Like an old creepy fan. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, what would you do with this if somebody said, Chad, you're in charge of remaking this for I don't know, whatever studio you want, Sony. Sony's going to give you money because evidently they'll give anybody money to make a movie over at Sony.
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do to make this a better film? You're making the same movie, but it's got to be better.
I wouldn't.
I would replace the whole cast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like drummer guy, fanboy / drummer guy.
Yeah,
Henry Rollins.
I'd get fanboy. Henry Rollins is not a bad choice. I like fucking. I don't know which one he is. Is it Mark or Jay Duplass? Yeah, he's in the movie Creep. The One I Love.
Oh no, I was thinking of original cast. So you're talking about who you would replace Fanboy
Who
with.
I would get, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about the Creep in Creep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That would be the guy I would get. And as
Okay.
far as like younger people, I don't know. We were joking around about like Michael Cera, but honestly, that would fit the vibe more than this guy. That more than these guys. You know what I'm saying?
We had joked about Michael Cera in the film Green Room, though. Who would you replace this film with Michael Cera?
Like which character in particular?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just whoever.
Man, I tell you who I would get instead, like to replace the blue-haired lady.
Okay.
Oh, fucking God, what is her name? She's very, like, meek. She's little. She's very mousy looking.
Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick. Yep. Wow. Get out of my head.
Man, get on my head.
Yeah, Anna Kendrick for her. Maybe she has a lovely voice. You know what I mean?
She was in Pitch Perfect.
Could she do punk rock stuff? I don't know. Maybe.
Potentially.
We'll find out. Other than that, I kind of want Jack Black to be the drummer that doesn't work out.
Or Dave Grohl.
Oh, yeah, Dave Grohl would be good. Dave Grohl would be fun. That'd be fun. I don't think he would do it, though, because he would want to be the killer that's good
the
at
new
drums.
drummer,
yeah,
right.
And I don't like him for that. He's not crazy enough. He can't look crazy enough.
I mean, feed him some crystal meth, possibly.
I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible in crystal meth.
That's true. That's true. Don't do crystal meth or heroin out there, folks. But a little splash of the old black. Okay, all right. I'm gonna have myself a little black velvet and cream here. What do you call this?
It's black velvet cream pie.
A black velvet cream pie. Hell yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's black blended with cream, so it's a BBC.
All right. There's usually more chocolate in this, right?
There you go. That's right. Man, I fucking love cream soda, though.
A lot of sugars, dog.
Yep.
So,
I know. That's why I don't ever fucking drink it.
What is it? 49 grams of sugar is 98% your daily intake.
Christ almighty. That's why I don't ever drink it, man. I got like 3 cream sodas a year, and I'm like, ooh, what a treat.
Right? And you're like, I've got type 2.
See here, where were we? Okay, we're recasting people. I know, what the fuck is her name? Kristen Stewart. She can do like grungy.
Kristen Stewart. I believe that's the girl from Twilight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Her. She can do grungy. She was in American Ultra. She's pretty grungy in that. Like that could work. Tessa Thompson, she could pull that off. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that would be kind of where I would go with that. As far as the other people in the band,
I don't know. Like whenever I think about actors who can be oddball, I think of the film Waiting, and I think of Ryan Reynolds and Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Like those were off the wall oddball characters.
Yeah, that is true. Man, I never really got much into Dane Cook.
To be honest, I believe I saw him at a show in St. Louis in like 2008 or 2009. It was one of his last tours that I remember him doing.
Up. Yeah, he got
he blew up before that, though. That's the thing. Like, this is one of his last tours that I recall, and then everybody kind of started hating on him. But I mean, he was he was a trendsetter. I really do believe that.
I think so. I remember what I don't remember a lot of his material because I wasn't taken with much of it, but I do remember one specific joke that I will never forget. He's talking about like he had a fight with his girlfriend and he's in the kitchen washing a dish.
Oodles and noodles.
Yeah. That whole gag. I remember that one really well because that one landed for me. I like that.
I want to say that was on Vicious Circle.
That sounds about right. Well, he'd be too old to play a teenager in this.
Oh, he would now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds would anymore as well.
Yeah, I guess time restraints don't really matter. I don't know. Get some Stranger Things kids in there. They're about that age, right? Ish.
Yeah, ish. I guess I'm not really up on who the new actors are.
Me neither. Me neither. Like, who plays teenagers? I don't fucking know.
People in their 20s and 30s.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, by God, when we were coming up, adults played children, God damn it. So, I don't know. I mean, mostly just fucking recast it. Get a different... It needs a better editor. There needs to be better editing for this. It's not a terrible idea, but it's not shot particularly great, and the editing makes it worse.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of a film I had texted you the other day about an episode idea, but it was the film Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Enter the Fist, yeah.
I remember there was like a good 3 seconds of the guy's lips moving, and all he said was, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels whenever you try to watch it.
It's got this weird quality about it where, like, there's an instance where 5 people are sitting at a table, and one of them goes to scoot out. He's done talking, and the person in front of him is stood up so he can slide out of the booth. And as he's sliding out of the booth, he turns towards the other person. You can see him directly in line of the camera, and he's still talking, and nothing. It just, like, nothing. Everything just feels very stilted. All of the line deliveries are fucking weird. All of them are unnatural. There's not one natural line delivery in the whole film.
I'm not even sure if monotone honestly conveys what it is.
No, because some of them are trying, but it'll be like, ha, what do you mean? Of course I wouldn't do that.
Right, and it's not even like you can pin, like, if it's over or under exaggerated, because it could be both at the same time.
You know what the most important thing in comedy is? Timing.
You fucking dickhead.
And this is the worst example of it.
Knock, knock.
Somebody will be like, hey, man, what are you doing? And they'll go, hey, man, here's like real-time speed of audio from this film. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing? Why? I was just wondering what you were doing up so late. Like, it's fucking the cadence of it is so bizarrely fucking spaced out.
I just want to bring up this knock knock joke due to your timing joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
No, we're over that.
Fuck you, dickhead.
We're over that. I won't take you all the way with that one. I do love that one though.
This is just gonna be 9 hours of audio with us fucking with one another.
Oh, dude, it's fine. It's fine. Honestly, though, and I hate to say this in retrospect because it was not great. I enjoyed beating up on it, man. It was kind of. It wasn't. I wasn't ever not interested.
No, I mean, if I wasn't sitting with you guys watching it, I would have turned it off within the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds, most likely.
Yeah, I have a distinct approach to watching a bad movie when I put it on and I know it's going to be bad.
Oh, I do too.
It's
I just
like,
don't watch it.
It's going to be a fucking train wreck, but I am curious to see like what's the skeleton like. You know what I mean? It was bad because they either A, didn't know what they were doing, or, you know, just didn't have the budget, or didn't have the right acting, had poor writing. There'll always be something. But this, like, the writing and the actual story, not fucking bad. Not fucking bad, I think. Well, the writing is bad because all the speech and line delivery is stilted and weird.
See, you always label yourself as a soft critic, whereas I'd more so say I'm a very erect critic.
What do you? How many? If all your fingers were thumbs and you had 10 thumbs, and all those thumbs were snare drums, how many snare drum thumbs?
No, I think I want all my thumbs to be Mexican beers.
Oh, Mexican beers. That's a thing. That's a weird line that they say like 18 times in this movie.
Yeah.
You guys want Mexican beers?
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a Mexican beer back there?
The only one they mention is Tecate.
Yeah. But that's what they're drinking the whole time. That's what I'm saying. The budget was like, what could it have been? $5,000? Bunch of booze, couple of cameras.
If all of my fingers were Mexican beers and there were 10 of them, what would I give the film?
For a bad movie, like knowing that it's deliberately bad. So,
I mean, if they were driving to make it a bad film, fucking 10. As a film, I struggle to give it a 6.
So here's how I always have thought of the bad movie rating is, we knew it wasn't going to be good when we put it on. So watching it with the perspective that you already know that it's not going to be good, how much enjoyment did you get out of watching it? Out of 10.
Very little out of 10. I'll up it to a 6 and 6.75.
I had a pretty good time with this. 6.75, that's not bad. I had a pretty good time with this. I think I was going to give it just south of an 8, but I think I'll go ahead and round up to an 8. Look, it is bad, but there's enough stuff to, like, roast it while you're watching it, and that's what's fun for me.
That's what we've done the entire time.
Yeah, and that's the part that I enjoy, because we've watched other bad movies where it's like we just kind of sit there in silence for an hour and 40 minutes because it's nothing. We're just watching nothing.
But I also consider, if I wasn't watching the movie with you and Alicia,
oh yeah,
I just wouldn't watch the movie, period.
No, for sure, that's what this podcast is.
Yeah.
It's just it's a film study. A really long, really painful film study. Okay, well, yeah, there it is. We rated it. We maybe dusted it off a little bit if we had a couple extra $1 million to remake it. And
I mean, we don't want to offend the suggestee whatsoever. I mean, this is just our take on what we sat through.
Yeah. No, it's garbage, though. And even the guy that recommended it, Jacob Parker, he knows. He was like, oh, it's trash. It's trash. Real bad acting. Like got some Nightman, Dayman vibes to it.
Nightman.
Yeah. You know what? I agree, but I did have fun beating up on it. Pretty good time, I think. Next segment of the show.
Hey, what you watching?
Chad, what you been watching?
I don't know. It's more of a background thing, but I've been checking out NCIS, even though it's been out for quite some time.
Okay. Yeah. It has been for, I don't know, 20 years.
Oh yeah, well that's like I was telling Amy, like the lab girl Abby, I believe her name is like Polly Peretti or something. I told her the other day, I was like, you do realize this woman was born in 1969, right? And she was like, I thought she was like 20 years younger. And I'm like, you gotta realize this show was out like 20 years ago.
Oh, right.
So yeah, she was 20 years younger whenever you first watched it.
Yeah.
But as far as other things I've checked out, like I've checked out the show Bodies. I had to stop watching the 100. It was just...
How is it? How is Bodies?
Bodies was interesting. I mean, I was pretty lit most of the time watching it, so I kind of lost track, but it's something I want to revisit. Let's see.
I finished Breaking Bad.
How was it?
I tell you what, it is probably the best button up for any TV show I think I've ever seen. And I can understand why everybody regards it so highly. That is the best finale to a show.
I'm not sure if I saw. I remember I watched. I don't know if it was the finale or one of the last episodes. Fuck. If it was one of the last episodes, but I remember a machine gun was in a car trunk or near a car trunk or something. I feel like I remember that.
Just fucking genius execution.
See, I had started watching the show Dead to Me, but I never finished that.
I feel like I watched a couple episodes of that. I watched the first whole season of Resident Alien. Highly recommend.
Which that was Alan Two Dicks, correct?
Yeah, Alan Two Dicks.
Okay.
Yep. Watched the whole first season. I think I'm like 2 episodes into season 2 or whatever. Loving that. It's a good fun time. Alan Tudyk is just a delight all around. He really nails what it would be like to be this weird kind of semi-sarcastic alien creature wearing a human skin. Like, it's weird how hard he nails that very specific thing. But he's great in it, man. Everybody's great in it. Funny show.
Did you ever get into The Blacklist?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's something you need to check
I never
out.
did.
I think you'd appreciate. Well, The Blacklist and The Night Agent, I think is what it was called. I think you would like both of those shows.
Okay.
Did you watch The Midnight Club?
Next thing I'm going to get into, I think, is Better Call Saul. I'm going to watch all that.
I had started it, and it was interesting because what's his name? Steve Odenkirk?
Or
Bob Odenkirk?
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, Bill.
Yeah, I had started it. It definitely captures your attention. But did you watch The Midnight Club?
That's because at the end of Breaking Bad, he's like, best case scenario, in 3 months, I'm managing a Cinnabon. And then when Better Call Saul opens up, it's in that black and white, but he is managing a Cinnabon. What were you saying? Sorry?
Did you ever watch The Midnight Club?
The Midnight Club? No.
Did you watch Midnight Mass?
I did.
It's like a sister show to Midnight Mass.
Really?
But did you like Midnight Mass? Because that's a show I could talk about day after day.
I really liked Midnight Mass, but I really hated one episode.
Which episode?
The one where they're out on the lake in the boat.
Oh, that was pretty much the episode.
That's the whole episode, and somebody was like, you know what? I'm fucking horny for writing. And and nobody went, hey, maybe dial it back a bit. They just went, you know what? Fuck it. Balls to the wall.
Which that was near the end, though.
It's just egregious. That's all. It's just egregious writing. No one has ever had a conversation like that.
But I mean, say that
in that way. You know what I mean? Like it's very floral, and it does not fit the tonality of the rest of the show.
No, but say it was a 10 episode season, that may have been 10%, so 90% of it was still better than that.
Right. Now, same person that made Midnight Mass also did the Fall of the House of Usher, which we both watched. And
yeah.
I recently just buttoned up. I hadn't finished it. I think I'd watched like four episodes and just hadn't finished it.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally polished that off and liked it a lot, man.
Oh yeah,
liked it a lot.
Like the scene where Roderick Usher was in his, I guess it was a tower. Is that what he worked in? Or was it just an office building?
Like a skyscraper.
Yeah, but where it was like raining bodies from the sky.
Oh, yeah.
That was cinematic masterpiece to see that.
When the lady's like, she's like, you're not the most prolific murderer I've ever known, but you're top 5.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, who do you compare him to? Like Hitler?
Genghis Khan?
Stalin? Genghis Khan? Yeah,
Right?
I mean, Jesus, fuck. But I think that's kind of comparing it to the show Painkiller from what Amy had told me. I never watched that show.
I haven't watched it yet.
But
I'm curious to see. I do want to check it out, though, because it's got fucking, what's his name? Matthew Broderick in it.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Painkillers? Matthew Broderick in that? Let me find out.
Macaulay Culkin. I mean,
Macaulay Culkin's in it?
Justin Long. White people.
Painkillers cast. Yeah, Matthew Broderick. Taylor Kitsch.
What was the first one?
West Duchovny. I guess that's David Duchovny's daughter?
Which reminds me, that was X-Files, right?
West 24 is the daughter of David Duchovny, who starred in multiple series, including X-Files in California.
Yeah, so I remember an old coworker, Matt, had told me that Californication was a really good show. David Duchovny was in it.
Yeah, I've always heard that's a good one. I never watched Californication.
I haven't either.
He's like a writer and a sex addict or something.
Oh, okay.
I do like David Duchovny, though. Did you watch The Bubble on Netflix?
I don't believe I did.
It was like a COVID movie or whatever.
No,
It was
no,
fucking terrible, but David Duchovny was in it.
Okay.
It was dog shit.
I do like him as an actor, though.
Yeah, same. I think I prefer him in a dramatic role. I don't think he's very funny.
I couldn't see him being funny after seeing him in the X-Files, no.
Yeah, no. God, I wish they would just bring it back. I wish they would bring it back. Bring back the X-Files and do half a season with Mulder and Scully.
They did bring back the X-Files,
and then do the second half of the season, them passing the torch
to begin anew,
to start over, and then just start a new X-Files. Modernize that shit.
No, because they did do a new X-Files within the last few years.
Yeah. I watched the movie, and I think I watched half of the new season that came out. It didn't have the same zing.
I remember back in the day there was this show, I believe it was called Fringe, and it really reminded me of the X-Files.
Oh, dude, Birdman fucking loves Fringe.
Okay.
That's his jam. I never got down on Fringe. I think I watched like 3 episodes of it, and I was like, oh, I get why this is cool, but I'm not going to watch it for whatever reason.
Bird, you mean poultry person?
Yes, poultry person.
Okay.
Poultry man. But I watched, I like cut my teeth on X-Files. That was my shit. I always watched X-Files.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was more so my childhood and your, I don't know, adolescent years.
Yeah, I was probably like between 13 and 16 when I watched fucking X-Files like every Thursday night or whatever it was. I don't know when it was, but I did watch the shit out of it. Oh, I see her. What else did I watch? Oh, I played a little bit of a new indie game that is on Game Pass for Xbox called Jusant. And Jusant is a...
Language of origin, please.
French.
Oh, okay.
And it means the receding tide.
I was hoping it was a receding hairline.
The falling tide, but it's a climbing simulator, like a climbing game. Pretty cool. I like it. Evidently, it's like 5 hours long, and I'm like, you know what? I can play a 5 hour long game if it's fun. And so far, pretty fun.
How far into it are you?
Like 8 minutes.
I
put it on today. I was deer hunting. It's deer season. Today was opening day. So I got up early. I went outside. I sat outside like all fucking day. I just drank a pot of coffee and a 6-pack before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I came inside and I took a 50-minute nap.
I was concerned to begin with because you said 8. And then I kind of paused in my mind after you said a 5 hour game. And I was like, if he's going to say he's 8 hours into it and he's barely broke the surface, I'm kind of concerned.
Oh, yeah, no. I have played tons of games like that. I played fucking Persona 5, bro. It's like watching a 12-hour long movie before you start the game. But you know what? Once I got into the game, I really, really enjoyed it. So I was like, it was actually worth the setup because I cared about the characters by the time the game started. But god damn, it was a lot of hand-holdy shit that I am not crazy about.
I want to say the last game I downloaded was a suggestion from you, and it was Prominence Poker, and I've maybe played 30 minutes of it.
Oh, yeah, I do like Prominence Poker.
Before that, it was probably Diablo 4. I mean, I bought it, and I've maybe played it 3 times. Before that, I bought Destiny 2 to play with some coworkers, and I dropped a lot of money on it. Maybe played it for 4 hours.
I definitely got my fucking money's worth out of fucking Diablo. But Diablo is a game. It might be 2 years, and then we'll pick it up again and play it for another fucking 80 hours. It's a craving that I have.
I mean, I get that.
I guess.
Whenever I had first played Skyrim, I played the piss out of that game. But I mean, now where I'm at, I mean, I'm working 11 hours a day. So whenever it comes time to come home and, you know, Amy gets off work 30 minutes or so after I do, I mean, there's not a whole lot of time to decompress and try to fuck around and play anything. It's kind of, she comes home, we decompress, talk about how our day was. It's time to take a shower, put something on in the background, and go to bed. Yep.
No, that's very true. And that's how I am. Like, I played like 8 minutes of a game this week. I said, I did start playing Marvel Snap again in the last like 2 weeks. So I've been enjoying that. But that's old news, I suppose. If anybody out there is into it, you know, fucking email me your deck. Let's see what you got. Let's talk about it. What else, man? I feel like I got something else for what you're watching. Maybe not, though. That might be it. I'm still reading my book.
Yeah, I remember the only 2 topics we needed to cover for as far as what you're watching was The Fall of the House of Usher and Breaking Bad.
Man, loved it. Loved The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. And fucking Resident Alien, that was the other thing. So I think that's going to do it for us. If you want to reach us on social media, you know, you can do that at itsjusttwomovies.com. We are on TikTok at It's Just Two Movies Pod. Leave us a like if you could, especially if you made it this far. Would help us tremendously if you took a moment just to be review number 5 or whatever. And just leave us a little 5-star and go, yeah, that'd be great. But I think that's going to do it. And next week, I think we're going to do the movie Coco from Disney.
So do we end the show the same way that we begin it with a medium-length French kiss?
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that gold talk for a one-eyed Batman.
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob, we don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, special thanks for the people who helped make this show. That is going to be Russ, Tafari, God-Sized and Growing, and SUNDS for our music, Lamplighter Productions for our artwork. Oh yeah, I definitely want to throw out a thanks to Dave, who takes care of our YouTube platform, and Justin, who has started doing our TikTok. You can find us on TikTok at Just Two Movies Pod. Yeah, so hit us up on socials and tell your friends and leave us a like if you could. That's the show. I was like, what the fuck is that? I thought maybe it was an accident the first time, you know? And then it wasn't. It was just, I just looked up and you just rubbing your face on the microphone. I love it.